Okay, our last chapter we ended on 2:06. Now I'm going to start 2:07. Chapter 19, new chapter. The sun had been slanting through the chinks in the shed wall for hours when Kit heard the heavy bolt withdrawn and the shed door opened. This time it was the constable's wife, with a wooden trencher of mush. In spite of its dubious appearance, it sent a faint curl of steam into the frosty air, and Kit forced herself to take a few spoonfuls, while the woman stood watching, hands on her hips. I reckon you'd be half froze, the woman observed. To tell you the truth, I couldn't sleep half the night thinking of you out here. 'Tis good enough for thieves and drunkards, I say to my man, but 'tis no place for a female witch or no. I've seen the girl in the meetings. I says, sitting there decent as you please, and it goes against reason she could be a witch. There's some folks in the town always bent on stirring up trouble. Kit looked up at her gratefully. "'Twas good of you to send the quilt," she said. "How long will they keep me here, do you think?" "My man has orders to take you to the town in an hour." "So soon?" Kit put down the spoon, her stomach curling. "What will happen there? The magistrate and the ministers will examine you. If they think you be guilty, they'll send you on to Hartford to wait a trial. At any rate, you'll be off our hands. My man and I, we don't relish this work much. We'll be glad when his term is up." Kit laid down the trencher in dismay. "But I can't go like this. I've been sitting in the dirt all night." The face she lifted to the woman was even sorrier than she realized, streaked with mud and tears. "You're no treat to look at, that's sure," the woman admitted. "If they took you for a witch right now, I'd scarce blame them. Wait a minute." She went away, taking the precaution of bolting the door securely, and returned presently with a basin of water and a rough wooden comb. Gratefully, Kit did what she could do to make herself respectable. The dress, dirty and crumpled, could not be helped. It required the constable and 2 sturdy members of the watch to conduct the timid witch up Carpenter's Lane, along Broad Street, up Hungry Hill, to the town house. The small building seemed full of people as she entered. Benches and chairs along the 2 walls were crowded with men from the town, with here and there a sharp-faced woman, cronies of Goodwife Gruff. At a table at the end of the room sat Captain Samuel Talcott, magistrate from Wethersfield to the General Court of Connecticut, and a group of men whom Kit knew as the town selectmen. Her uncle sat in his place among them, his lips tight, his brows drawn fiercely together. What anguish it must cost him, Kit thought with shame, to have to sit here and pass judgment on a member of his own household. At the opposite end of the table sat the 2 ministers, Reverend John Woodbridge and Dr. Gresham Bulkeley, both famed for their relentless sermons against witchcraft. Kit's heart sank. There was no one in the whole room, save her uncle, who would speak a word in her defense. William had not come. Captain Talcott rapped on the table, and a hush fell over the room. "Good folk, we will proceed at once to the business at hand. We have come here in order to inquire and search into the matter of Mistress Catherine Tyler, lately of Barbados, who is accused by sundry witnesses of practiced witchcraft. Mistress Tyler will come forward." Prompted by the constable's elbow, Kit got her to her feet and moved haltingly across the room to stand facing the magistrate across the table. "You will listen to the charge against you." A clerk read from a parchment, giving full weight and due to every awful word. "Catherine Tyler, there thou art. Here are accused that, not having the fear of God before thine eyes, thou hast familiarity with Satan, the grand enemy of God and man, and that by his instigation, and withheld, thou hast in a preternatural way afflicted and done harm to bodies and estates of sundry of his Majesty's subjects in the 3rd year of his Majesty's reign, for which by the law of God and the law of the colony thou deservest to die. There was a murmur along the benches. Kit's hands felt icy, but she kept her eyes steadily on the magistrate. Mistress Tyler, you are accused by Adam Croft with the following actions. Firstly, that you were the familiar friend and companion of the widow Hannah Tupper of Blackberry Pond, an alleged witch who has been within the past week disappeared in a suspicious manner. Such friendship is the lawful test of guilt, inasmuch as it is well known that witchcraft is an art that may be learned and conveyed from one person to another, and that it has often fallen out that a witch, upon dying, leaveth some heir to her witchcraft. Secondly, that you are guilty of action and works which infer a court with the devil, which has caused illness and death to fall upon many innocent children in this town. The clerk sat down. Captain Talcott eyed the girl before him. Quite plainly he had a distaste for the duty at hand, but his stern soldierly countenance did not soften. Mistress Tyler, he said, you have heard the complaints against you. We will proceed with the first accusation. Is it true that you were friend and companion of Widow Tupper? For a moment Kit feared that her voice would not come. Yes, sir, she managed shakily. Is it true that on Sunday occasions during the summer you have entered her house and visited with her? Yes, sir. Is it true that you were also acquainted with a certain cat which the widow entertained as a familiar spirit? It is just an ordinary cat, sir, like any cat. You will answer yes or no. Is it true that you have engaged with the widow Tupper in various enchantments with the people with the direct intent of causing mischief to certain people? Oh, no, sir, I don't know what you mean by enchantments. Do you deny that on a certain day in August last, on passing the pasture of Goodman Woodall's you cast a spell upon his cattle so that they were rooted to the ground where they stood and refused to answer his call or to give any milk on the meeting? I don't understand, sir. How could I do such a thing? Goodman Whitsley, will you repeat your complaint to this assembly? Her head reeling, Kit stood helpless as, one after the other, they rose and made their complaints. These men and women, whom she scarcely recognized, the evidence rolled against her like a dark wave. One man's child had cried aloud all night that someone was sticking pins into him. Another child had seen a dark creature with horns at the foot of her bed. A woman who lived along the out road testified that one morning Kit had stopped and spoken to her child, and that within 10 minutes the child had fallen into a fit and lain ill for 5 days. Okay, it's the end of page 211. We'll start on 212 next time.